Oh, it's one of my favorite times of the week. Welcome into the Coach and a Bro Show. I am one half of this dynamic duo. I am the coach, and you are watching one of our three shows that comes out of BTT Studios. While you are here, I encourage you to subscribe to our YouTube channel, hit that like button on your way in, and please share the show. Now, we've got a lot of topics, but if you come here for us to break down Monday Night Raw or Smackdown, this is not the place. We take on the bigger topics, whatever they might be, from well over 20, 25, 30 years of experience inside the WWE, WCW, TNA, the pro wrestling business. And sometimes it just feels right. Before I say my thank yous, we got to bring in my partner. We haven't been together because of schedules for almost 2 weeks, but damn it, is it good to see my man back on the other side of that screen. My man, Vince Russo from russosbrand.com. Vince, it is so good to see and talk to you, brother. Good afternoon.
Coach, I was having coach withdrawal, man. I really missed our shows, man. I didn't have you here for a couple of weeks. You didn't have me here last Thursday. Bro, it's great to be back in the saddle with you, Coach.
Yeah, it really, really is. By the way, tell the good people at home how they can be a part of this show if they so choose.
Yeah, guys, we love you to be a part of this discussion, but keep in mind, Coach and I are working here. This is how we made a living. So if you want to become a part of this discussion, we will read your questions or your comments. We'll put them right on the screen, but you got to do it through a super sticker or a donation to support us, support Producer Man, support this show.
You're damn right. We are presented by Deemer Box and Shop Mando at shopmando.com. But Vince, I got to hit something before we even get started. Because you know me, and you know it's not my style to toot my own horn or pat myself on the back. However, I was sitting on an airplane 1 week ago today, and I said, I'll hit the link. I've got some time to kill. And I see you come in and bring Big Tommy C in. And what did you guys do? Well, you took shot after shot. Coach is on vacation. He's laying on the beach, blah, blah, blah. So I said to myself, you know what? I'm going to bring in a guest host on Thursday that's going to blow things out of the water just to show Vince and Big Tommy the stroke that I have. So we brought in JD from New York.
Yes.
So I don't know if you've got a chance to look at last week's episode and the view count, but Vince, we added almost 1,000 subs to the brand, and the show is currently at 12,000 views from Thursday. So, toot, your take.
Hey, listen, I am a big fan of JD from New York. It's not that him and I agree on everything, but I'm a big fan of his. He speaks his mind. He's a New Yorker. We all do. And tremendous, bro. I'm glad you hooked up with him, and I'm glad you guys had a very, very successful show. But JD, with all due respect, bro, you ain't replacing me. I mean, you know, whether it's 12,000, 22,000, 12 billion, even if it's 12, even if it's Hulk numbers, you're not replacing me on this show, bro.
That's for damn sure. But we do thank you for stepping in.
Yes,
we had a great time, and we love adding people to the brand, but we have our OGs here, and our OGs will never be replaced. One other housekeeping item, don't forget tonight, 11 p.m. Eastern time, live on Stadium, Amazon Prime, DirecTV. It's The Last Word. Me, Big Tommy C, Gabby, and tonight, and we also have Russo's Rant every week too. But Vince, we have former WWE superstar Victoria, Lisa Marie.
Oh, I love Victoria. Love Victoria. One of my favorite people in the whole world. Love her.
She's great. She's excited. So tune in to that. You can also watch it on YouTube or socials, but we encourage you to watch it on Stadium, on network television, it's where we're going to be very soon, Vince. We're going to have this show on Stadium very soon.
Looking forward to it, bro. The more the merrier, Coach.
You're damn right. All right, let's get into it. We got 5 big topics today, and we got to start with what happened last week on Smackdown. And as I watched it, I was kind of reading social media on The Rock showing up, and I thought it was going to be, he would, announce, well, next year's WrestleMania is going to be in the Big Easy. But then he went into this whole thing that got very weird to me, and having Cody Rhodes be the corporate champion, and my mind went right back. And you were there at this time, so I couldn't wait to get your take of when Vince and Stone Cold started their thing where he was against the establishment and all of that. Rock made it seem like he's now running everything at TKO, everything at WWE, and wants Cody to be his champion. Let's start right there. What did you make of that?
Yeah, coach, I'm gonna say this. And listen, man, I'm gonna stop feeling sorry for kind of putting Triple H through the ringer, and now I'm gonna be putting Road Dogg through the ringer. Listen, man, I work with these guys for a lot of years. I consider them friends. They're good people. They're not television writers. Okay? I know that. They know that. And it shows on all these shows. Coach, I never thought The Rock would ever look bad in a promo.
Okay.
He looked bad on Friday night because it was very confusing. They seem to be reaching for straws. Vince, what do you mean confusing? Okay, I will explain to you, and I will explain the big, gigantic hole, and they will leave holes because they're not writers. Coach, if we go back to McMahon versus Austin, even though the people loved Austin, even though Austin was a draw, even though in storyline content, Austin was making Vince money, Austin was an embarrassment to Vince. He was not the type of champion that Vince wanted to represent the WWE. He was drinking beer. He was double birding. He was cursing. So the reality of it was, even though the people loved him, even though from a business point of view, he was making Vince money, he was also a disgrace to Vince as the champion. That's why Vince wanted him out. That's why Vince tried to conform him.
Yes.
All right, so we got a situation now with The Rock. First of all, bro, early on in the promo, he reminds us about his new Disney movie that just made $2 million on the weekend or whatever. What is it? Winona?
Moana.
Okay,
Moana.
So number one, he's telling us about his Disney movie, Moana. Then he's also turning around telling everybody, look how they love you, Cody. They all love you. They love you. Okay, man, then Rock, if they love him and he's making you money, then why do you want his soul? You know, Cody is the perfect champion, bro. He does the make-a-wishes. He's well-spoken. He looks good. He's over with the fans. Why would you want him replaced as your champion? Or why would you want him to turn to the dark side? It makes no sense. This is the problem, bro, when you got writers, when you got wrestlers writing the show. If you want me to understand why Rock, Mr. Disney, wants the soul of somebody that he's saying the fans love you, listen to them, they all love you. Well, if you want me to buy into that, then you're going to have to explain that to me, because on the surface, Coach, it makes zero sense.
Well, it goes back to what we talk about a lot, that once TKO took over, Vince, and they bought the WWE, and Michael Cole said it on the Impulsive podcast last week. He's like, it's about stories. It's not even close to about wrestling anymore. We're writing for Hollywood. And so for him to promote his movie, that's TKO saying, we're your agents and we get a piece of that pie. So let's get it out there so we can get that every last dollar from that movie. And that I would have been saying, I'm going to be in a Martin Scorsese movie. If I'm going to promote something, it's going to be the Leonardo DiCaprio, movie that he's going to be in. But where I found it confusing, and you say, explain this to me. And this is why I love having these discussions with you, because when you skip over one thing, now all of a sudden you're like, wait a second. If Vince, say you and I were in a battle and I beat the absolutely ever-loving tar out of you outside of your bus several months ago. There is not a world that I live in where when you walk into the ring and say, hey, I got respect for you now. We become friends the last several months. When? When did you become friends on the show, not off the show? Because now we made it clear that we are separating to two worlds. So when you're in the ring, you can't talk about something that happens outside of that universe because now it's supposed to be a movie. Am I on track here?
You are 100% on track because, again, Coach, when you don't have writers and there's no logic and there's no explanation, here's what the WWE wants you to do.
Okay.
They want you to forget. We're supposed to forget about the beating at the bus. All that, we're supposed to forget that because, Coach, we need to forget that in order for this to make sense.
To work.
That's what they do, bro. And again, I'll beat the horse. It's a lack of writing. And then, Coach, to add to that, we're talking about Endeavor. We're talking about Nick Khan. We're talking about Ari Emanuel. How many people watching this show has no clue who those people are? How many?
All of them.
Absolutely. I mean, they are 1,000,000,000% catering to the marks, the people already watching the show. Nobody knows who Ari Emanuel is. Nobody cares who Ari Emanuel is. Bro, I have never seen a Rock promo since I first met the dude in 96 where it was all over the place, bro. And this made no sense.
Real quick, we do have people watching all the way from Portugal right now live. So shout out to Portugal as the Coach and Bro Show is worldwide. He is Vince Russo. I am the coach. This is the Monday edition. We're here twice a week, Mondays and Thursdays live, or you can catch us on demand. So the one thing we like to do here at the show, Vince, is give them a solution because a lot of shows will complain. What would you have done if they're trying to get to a point where they want to create this, which would I believe would turn Cody heel, and he sells a lot of merch and he's their babyface champion, and you got Gunther on the other side? Why would you want to have two heel champions? I'm not sure about that, but what would you have done to try to get this over the goal line if you have to do it?
Well, I mean, Coach, exactly what you said, because I am a firm believer you've got to protect every talent. Mm-hmm. So you got to start this thing with Cody reminding him what happened at that bus, and Cody reminding him there's a receipt coming that you haven't gotten yet. And once we even that score, then we'll talk about business going further. You've got to address everything that happened. But Coach, they're on a slippery slope because I'm going to throw back to JD. Okay. JD was talking about, okay, Rock wants a heel corporate champion. Why? I don't know. And that's another, is Rock a babyface? Is he in Disney movies? Is he a heel? I don't know what he is anymore. I don't know. But now JD said, you know what? What if Cody turns down that role and it's CM Punk that becomes the sellout and the corporate champion?
Okay.
That's what JD said. Bro, we're walking a real slippery slope here, because either way, bro, this could backfire on you. They love Punk. They want Punk to go to the main event of WrestleMania. Bro, if Punk turns heel and becomes the corporate Rock, bro, there's a very good chance they can cheer Punk and boo Cody Rhodes. So they got to be real careful about the way they play this. So what's the other alternative? The other alternative is to turn Cody Rhodes heel and have CM Punk, now replace him as the babyface. But either way, bro, this is a crapshoot. And the reason why it's a crapshoot is they have not solidified who are the baby faces, who are the heels, and why. They've not solidified that.
You guys just got a 101 in pro wrestling right there, because in every good feud, you have to have a heel. You have got to have a baby face. And when you're leading up to WrestleMania, and this is the next 2 months, Vince, is they sell the most merch. They sell the most of everything. You've got to have your most popular guys out front. And that's where I agree with you, that when you've got, every time CM Punk comes out right now, a lot of his promos are factual. Drew McIntyre, that was a great one-on-one. Seth Rollins, that was a great main event. CM Punk, whether people want to admit it or not, has come in and, at least on the surface, been a great backstage teammate. And right now, you're pushing towards, you could see if CM Punk wins at WrestleMania, that could be a gigantic pop at the end of the night, which is what you want at the end of every WrestleMania, whatever that pop is. And I agree with you. There's a lot here, and I think that we both agree it was very weird. I did not expect The Rock to do it, and I also feel like The Rock, on some level, is trying to cement himself as the person who makes the decisions, and that he wants to show Triple H, as we move this forward, as I do less and less movies, is he going to put Brian Gewirtz, his right-hand guy, in charge of writing Monday Night Raw? That could be something that happens. And I never thought The Rock would be back doing the corporate thing, but that part's a little bit weird to me too. Playing the role of Vince is now Dwayne Johnson.
Right. We're going to take a little right-hand turn here, Coach.
Okay.
Because I want to revisit something I said a long time ago, because now I'm starting to see more and more things where I don't know if I was as off base as I thought I may have been.
Okay. What do you mean?
I said early on in this, was Ari Emanuel, Triple H, Nick Khan, and Stephanie McMahon in cahoots to have Vince McMahon outed? Were they maybe behind Janelle Grant and maybe talking to her? And here's the reason why I say that, Coach.
Okay.
More and more on a weekly basis, we are seeing things with this company that Vince would have never agreed to.
Such as?
Oh my God. Sponsors on the mat.
Oh God. He hated that. Ticket
prices. Indie wrestlers becoming main eventers. There's a lot of stuff that would not have happened on Vince's dime. So now you ask yourself a couple of questions. Did they purposely get Vince out of the way? And now this is Hollywood, Coach, like you said. Mm-hmm. Do we take it to the next level where Ari Emanuel plotted with Triple H and Stephanie and Nick Khan to oust Vince? Is the same Ari Emanuel now plotting with Rock to oust Triple H and Stephanie? Bro, that's how this thing works. You know, people, when I come on here and talk about
Vince, real quick, I just want to interrupt you because we have two super stickers I want to get to before we get away from the Rock situation. I'll let you come back. Is that cool? Yeah, so, Nonsense McGee, thank you for the super sticker. Says, appreciate the analysis. And yeah, Rock was sloppy, but they're just starting the story. And I hate when that thing is there. Sorry. I hate that little thing. There we go. Mania. There's too much talent there for it not to be entertaining. Marks or not, got 2 months to go. Your initial take to that one.
Nonsense McGee, that is nonsense. Because every week it's not entertaining, bro. These shows are not entertaining. So what are you talking about, bro? Too close to Mania. Too much talent there for it not to be entertaining. It's not entertaining every single week, bro. Like, when was it entertaining? I must have missed that stretch.
And then the other one, and this was kind of interesting, from Casa D18 Studios. What if it's Cena instead? He seemed pretty desperate for number 17 at the Rumble press scrum. Cena could be Hollywood corporate Cena. That might be interesting if they're lining up for that instead of Cody.
That could very, very much work, Casa. I like that a lot better. But then we also have to look at, how does John Cena want to go out? So they would have to do a heel turn and back to a babyface turn within the next year. But that route is much, much safer than CM Punk. But would Cena have agreed to come back the last year to be a heel? I don't know. I guess we'll see.
And he also is shooting a movie right now, which is why I believe they're doing 3 straight weeks, Vince, of Raw TV tapings in Europe. where he's coming back to do the chamber match, and he's going back to work on his movie. So they're taking the production over there so he can be, and he's going to be on every single TV taping over there. So if they're going to do this, this would be the month to do it because he'll be there for every single Raw, not SmackDown, Raw. And The Rock was on SmackDown, and they're still doing this nonsense of the whole brand split thing. This is where you need to start just saying, yeah, they're two shows, but it's one company and one group of talent because that's what they need for this storyline right now.
I agree, Coach.
All right. Very, very good. Thank you for the super stickers. If you want to be involved in the conversation, you can see how much it means to us. This stuff has to make sense because you're looking at the greatest writer in the history of pro wrestling. And when you're writing stuff, everything has to make sense. And you can't forget about stuff that happened 3, 4, 6, 8 months ago. You got to carry the stories forward. All right, storyline number 2. And I think I'm going to flip-flop, and Producer Man kills me when I do this. But this makes sense for what we just came off of, that you recently made headlines, Vince, for saying that pro wrestling is now written for children. I got somebody sent me an app or an interview that you did or you said on your show. What did you mean by that when you said that?
What every time Raw or SmackDown ends, Coach, I feel like an absolute idiot for watching that show because it's a show for idiots. It is written for idiots. And I watch it because I get paid, but I have also announced, Coach, I will continue to watch the WWE until my 65th birthday, which is not till January. Okay. So I have 11 months. Once I turn 65, I will never, ever watch another WWE show. What that means is I will leave money on the table because I cannot be a 65-year-old man watching a show that is written for 5-year-old children. So you've got 11 months of me telling you how it is. This will be my last WrestleMania. And Coach, I am done. I cannot sit there on a Monday or a Friday anymore and waste 5 more minutes of my time because I might not have that much time left, Coach.
I will address that right here and right now and say this. By the way, Nonsense McGee, another super sticker. He says, I live to live up to my name, even with my crazy thoughts. Hey, Nonsense, you keep throwing in super stickers. You can throw all the crazy thoughts you want. We'll read them.
And the only thing that was crazy nonsense that you said was you used the word entertaining with the WWE. That was the only crazy thing that you said, bro.
So let me address your little, I'm going to do a 2025 Vince Russo farewell tour. Now, I will allow you on russosbrand.com or Sportskeeda or any of your other jobs to do whatever you want to do. But I will be damned if next January you walk away from the Coach and Bro show, even if that means that I have to sit through the shows and watch them myself.
Coach, I want to make it clear. Never said I was walking away. I will not watch Raw, SmackDown, or any other WWE wrestling show again. I love talking about, Coach, the business of the business. I love discussing headlines, politics. I can talk about that stuff all day long. I cannot sit through a show written for 5-year-olds when I'm a 65-year-old man. So I'm not retiring. That's not what I'm saying.
Okay.
I'm saying I will no longer watch this nonsense on Mondays and Friday nights.
Okay. Very good. As long as we're clear that you and I will continue to be partners. That's all I care about.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Topic number 3. And by the way, you're watching the Coach and Bro Show. We're live every single Monday and Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. Then, of course, you can watch us on demand right here at our BTT Studios YouTube home page. Now, Vince, one thing I cannot stand is when a talent, any talent, tells me that they're going to do something and then it's month and then multiple months and then you get advertised and we hear nothing. It was a year ago at this time that the Becky Lynch rumors really started to ramp up. When is she coming back? Is she getting her new contract? I said right here on this show, I think she's asking for between $2 and $3 million a year. And Endeavor and TKO, they have a history, whether it's at the UFC or WWE, of not paying other than a few guys. That's what they do. They don't pay talent a ton of money unless you're Cody, Roman, etc. So she went on the Ariel Helwani show. Very vague. Well, I don't think it's been the last time you've heard of me. I don't think this. I don't think that. And then several months goes by. Then what happened, Vince? She gets advertised that she's at the photo shoot for the debut of Raw on Netflix. Right. So we're waiting. No Becky Lynch. Then we get to the Royal Rumble. Oh, it's got to be a run-in. This has got to be where she starts absolutely nothing. So she recently went on the, make sure I get this right, on Getting Over Wrestling podcast. And she was asked specifically, Vince, about her future. And the host, don't know who he is, mistakenly called her a full-time wrestler, which she has not been for well over a year. Listen to her response to what her future holds. Producer man, roll tape.
How much longer do you see yourself wrestling full-time? And whenever you do stop full-time, do you think it's going to be one of those situations where, look, that was the part of my life and it's over? Or are you someone who's always going to want to come back for periodic short little runs, kind of like a John Cena?
I don't know. I don't know I don't know the answer to these questions. I genuinely don't. And I'm being so vague, and I don't mean to be in any way cagey, but I feel like I have a great mind for wrestling. A great love for it, and so it's always going to be there in my heart and in my head, and it's it's part of my family. It's the reason I have my family, so it's so important to me. I just don't know what that looks like in the future. Yeah. I genuinely don't have any answers for you, because I don't know. I don't know. I think life continues to surprise me in wonderful ways recently. And you can make all of these plans, and sometimes they don't fall, they don't go the way that you intended. But in the long run, it's something works out and something becomes better than you have expected.
Vince, she is one of the, if not the biggest female name in the history of wrestling. She's nicknamed the Man. Why she goes on these shows to give answers like that, I will never understand, but I'm over it. I'm tired of it. And at least tell us something, or just go be a mother. But this is starting to get annoying as hell. Your take.
I'm very confused, Coach. That was I knew Becky had said some things because I saw it online, but this is the first time I've seen it or heard it. So this is my initial response to it. Okay. Coach, listen, I know you. And I know you mirror me when it comes to this. One part of being successful, Coach, is you have a plan. You know what you're doing at all times. You're not playing things by chance. I'm going to work at the WWE for this long, then I'm going to go do this, then I want to do that. I know that's how you are, Coach, because that's 100%. How I am.
100%.
Because, Coach, I've always said this, man, a big part of life, and I'm just throwing this advice out to people out there. Bro, there are going to be parts of your life where you absolutely hate what you're doing. But you're able to get through those points in your life because you're working towards something. And that something you're working towards is always the light at the end of the tunnel. So as long as you know, okay, I may not like this, and I may not be where I want to be this minute. However, this is necessary for me to get to here. That's the light of the tunnel. That's what keeps you going. I'm sorry, man, but I cannot believe that somebody with Becky Lynch's career, Becky Lynch is now a mother and she has a daughter. So there is somebody else to take into account here. It's not just Becky. She's got a family now. I just cannot believe that she has no idea what she's going to be doing next, unless, Coach, like you've speculated all along, unless she's not getting offered the money that she thought she was going to get offered. I don't know anything. I don't have any insight. I am just going from an introspective feel. That was my takeaway from that, Coach. Like, it's not in my hands.
So here's the deal, Vince. And you know me, I don't say anything on the show unless I have a pretty dialed in connection to it. And have I said anything? I can't think of one thing. Like the last week, the Shane, part of the reason we got such a higher viewership is my story about Shane and AEW and ghosting Tony Khan. I know that information to be true. And you know what hasn't happened in those 4 days, Vince? Nobody's disputed it.
Right.
Not one time.
Right.
Last year when she went on Ariel Helwani's show and she goes, well, Ariel,